today we're going to be looking at Stardew Valley. This is a game I've been playing for about a decade now, and I've got quite a few thousand hours in this. And one thing many people struggle with is surviving spring year one. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is going through that. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to start a new farm. We're going to go through it right from the beginning. Okay, so let's start. Let's have a look. What shall we name our farm today? Will be the Grumpy Farm. Okay, a little Easter egg here. If you put in Concerned Ape, you get a nice little Easter egg when you consume a star drop. When it comes to a pet, I go with the cats, mainly because if you choose a dog, it will run into all of your crops and everything else. When it comes to what your player looks like, that's entirely up to you. I just always go with the standard because it doesn't really bother me. Now, the next part is we get to decide on what kind of farm we want to start. Now, for a brand new player, you can either go for the standard farm, which gives you a nice big layout with lots to do. The forest farm, which is one of my favourites, that gives you a nice balance of farmland, plus it gives you forageables and it gives you a supply of hardwood. Or you can go for the newer farm, which is the Meadowland farm. Now, I actually recommend the Meadowland farm for all new players, simply because it's a lot easier to play to start with. You start the game with a coop and some chickens, which is an easier way to make money. I do recommend everyone has a go at the standard one if you want to try a big layout and have like a nice custom farm. However, if you just want to play and experience the game properly and just have a lot of fun, the Meadowlands farm is where we're going to go for. There are others. There's the Hilltop farm, which is very rocky, makes it a bit more difficult, but you've got minerals, you've got Four Corners, which has better for certain other things, like it's got bits of everything in that one. And then you've got the beach farm, which I've never actually played the beach farm. But if you like the fishing minigame and foraging, that one is for you. Let's get on with our game. Just one last thing before we start. Now, you do have settings here. If you want to be able to complete the community centre, which is a part of the game, when you want to go for shipping everything in year one, you'll need to turn this guarantee year one compatible on, otherwise you won't see a red cabbage until year two. For your very first play, if you're going to go through the community centre route, I would just recommend keeping this normal. Concerned Ape changed this for players that have been playing the game for a number of years and wanted something different. For everything else, I would leave this as it is as you start. There's not much else to change, especially if you're a new player, that may affect your gameplay. So we'll make a start. Now, I am playing on the Xbox, so this is a completely unmodded version of Stardew. The PC version does have mods available, which does make the game a little bit different. I've got some of my favourite mods. Now, here is the beginning and the intro. So your grandpa has died and he has left you his rundown farm. The Joja is the big corporation that is embedded into the game. There are two different routes that you can play the game, which I'll explain later. One of them is the Joja route and the other one is the community centre route. If you are reading this, you must be in dire need of a change. The same thing happened to me long ago. I lost sight of what mattered most in life. Real connections with other people and nature. So I dropped everything and moved to the place I truly belong. I've enclosed the deed to that place, my pride and joy, Grumpy Farm. It's located in Stardew Valley on the southern coast. It's the perfect place to start your new life. This was my most precious gift of all, and now it's yours. I know you honour the family name, my boy. Good luck. Love, Grandpa. P.S. If Lewis is still alive, say hi to the old guy from B, will ya? So this is my way of playing Stardew. There are loads of different ways of playing it, and there is no right or wrong way. There are people who play it to create fantastic looking farms and do all of the different upgrades and make it look fancy. Others like to turn it into a money making machine and get thousands. Other people, they just like to plod along and just have fun. All of those ways are the correct way of playing Stardew, so don't feel like if you see a YouTube video where it's like, let's make so much money, that you have to play it like that. The game is designed to be played how you like. So this is your first look at your farm. So yeah, you've got a lot of work to do on your farm, and it is a lot of hard work, but don't feel like you've got to do it all on the first day. if you are a seasoned player, you can skip all of the intro. Like that intro video that we just watched, that's the first time I've watched that in years, but I thought I'd play it today just so you guys can all see that. Okay, so that is the intro over with. So this game does save at the end of every day, and each day is around 15 minutes long unless you're doing School Cavern. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do is move my bed. I move my bed right next to the door. So at the end of the day, if I'm about to hit the 2 AM marker, I'm closer, less to run. So this here is going to be your initial crop growing area. However, because we have this farm, we get the chicken coop, which means you get some hay instead of seeds to start with, which is fine because we can buy some seeds. So let's go and say hello to our chickens. So every day you need to come in and pet your chickens. Sounds like a lot, but it does increase their heart value, and increasing their heart value increases the quality of the eggs that you get. So if I click on one of my chickens, if it will let me. No, it won't let me today. So here you've got your hay bin. Now if I try and put some hay into this bin, it'll say a silo is required. Later in the game you can build a silo and you don't have to carry around all of your hay. Now the chickens, however, don't need to eat that hay that I've just put out. They can eat the grass out here. So what we're going to do is just strip back some of these weeds using the scythe, and I'm also going to clear back some of this green grass, because what I want to grow is that blue grass. Now the blue grass is only available on this farm at the moment. From the start you can craft it on some of the other farms, and it grows in a different pattern, but it also feeds the chickens on less. Okay, so I've just got rid of that tree and I've just got rid of that seed. Pay attention to where seeds are because you will end up chopping a tree down. And now I'm just going to open the barn up and let those chickens roam free. There's still a bit more I need to do in there, but I want to conserve my energy. So on the right hand side you've got your energy bar, and you need to pay attention to that because in year 1 the currency isn't gold, it is energy. So now we're going to clear up some of this and we're going to go find some seeds. So using the scythe we just clear up some of these. So for the weeds and grass you're going to need the scythe. For the rocks I'm going to need to use the pickaxe, and for any of these sticks I'm going to have to use the axe. And if you look at the energy bar, every time I hit something it goes down slightly. So in year 1 we don't do too much all at once. Year 1 is all about surviving and kind of building forward to the later years. So those trees will all need chopping down at some point, but I'm not actually going to chop any trees down just yet. Mainly because chopping trees takes a lot of your energy, and today it's not about clearing all of the space, but what I do want to do is get 50 hardwood, well not hardwood, sorry, I want to get just 50 normal wood. And I can do that by just getting some of these. So one of the reasons I'm clearing as many weeds as I can is that overnight weeds will regrow and they can damage your crops and paths and things. So weeds we don't like. So the reason I want 50 wood before I go in search of seeds is so I can build a chest and put a load of things in. So down at the bottom of the screen you can see my inventory, and I don't really want to be carrying all of that around with me because it means I can't pick anything else up at the moment. Okay, so I've got 55 wood. Let's just build a chest. So every player will end up with a chest which I like to call the dumping chest, and that is earlier on in the game you will create a chest where you can just put your odds and ends. And as you can see, I don't actually have that much space around, but what I'm going to do is put the chest there and then drop these on the side of the map, because that way I can pick them back up again. So let's put my chest, I'm going to put the chest just here, I think. Pick that up again. And now we're going to just put in some things here, because I don't really want to be carrying these around. Now I'm saving these. So mixed seeds. When I first started playing the game years ago, I used to ignore mixed seeds and not really do anything with them. However, on later plays, I actually use them in year one. Why? Because they're free and you've got a chance of getting a decent crop out of them. By decent, one of the more expensive ones. So here we have the notice board, where you can see people's birthdays, you can see events, and also just here there's a help wanted where you can do tasks for villagers. I'm just going to say hello to Leah, and I'm going to say hello to Pierre. So to start with, we are going to grow 15 parsnips, which is the amount of parsnips you would grow on a normal starter. And for now, I'm going to grow, what else have we got? So if you look at the side, you can see how long things take to grow. And I'm going to grow 3 cauliflowers, I think, if I've got enough money. I don't know, I've only got enough for 2, that's not a problem. And because I like to do rows of 3, we will use some of those wild seeds here, sorry, mixed seeds, to make up the third on that row. Okay. There are other people I can say hello to. It's kind of like a little quest you get. You don't need to do it in day one. There's certain characters like Sebastian who comes out of his room in the evenings, and he's much easier to try and catch on a Friday. But the ones that are around I'll just quickly say hello to. And we have a forageable here. So foraging is a nice way to make a little bit of money in the early game. However, it does take up inventory space. So just remember, if you need to go buy something, don't go and forage something until you're on your way back. Okay, so now we're going to actually start and create our farm or our crops. So for that, you'll need your hoe. Now, you really should start planning where your crops are going to be much later in the game. So this bit down here, I will be putting a path later. So I'm going to start my crop just here. And I'm going to keep it in line with that post there. So it's 1, 2, 3. And each time I do this, you'll see my energy bars going down. So that's 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And it doesn't matter if you water before or after. I'm just watering before. As you can see, my energy is now getting really low, and I've not actually done much today. Okay, so now let's plant our parsnip seeds. The reason I'm kind of keeping it very tight on just how many that I'm growing is each day I'm going to have to water these crops, which take energy. So you've also got to plan that ahead as well. Now that's my parsnips done. Now you can, if you want, you can keep it as just a parsnip crop there and then do a separate one next to it. But I'm just going to carry on and just till another row. And we'll put those there. So that looks like you can kind of get an idea of to what's going to grow. That's another set of parsnips that's going to grow just there. And I'm going to put my clay and those seeds just in that chest, and we can pick them up at a later point if we decide to grow some more. And that is the day done. Now I do have some time left in the day, so we can go around and say hello to people. And I can show you around the town. So up here you've got a nice stand of trees which do grow back. So if you cut these down, they do grow back. It just takes a little bit of time. You have the bus, which is something that you're going to need to repair. And the minecart, which you're going to need to repair as well. And here you've got what I call free real estate. This area here, nothing really happens in the game. So you can actually use this to put machines down if you're going for an expanded farm. And under here again, you've got the bridge under the tunnel. You can't really do much under here. And that's the stop. Now around here or here, I can't remember which one it is, there is a hatch that you have to look in, but you need a glow ring to actually see it. But that hatch is actually for something much later in the game. Now up here you've got kind of a fountain and you've got the kids' play park. You will find forageables up here as well. So occasionally you'll find some forageables to get, and it's always worth just having a quick look as you're walking through. Now up here, this is where Robin kind of lives with her family, and you'll visit Robin fairly frequently as she's the town builder, and she will build up like your barns and things like that. This is Linus's tent. He is the local free-spirited man, and he's absolutely adorable. just say hello to him. He is always worth making friends with. Everyone loves Linus. He's out of his room. Let's say hello to him, because he's one of the hardest people to say hello to. So if you do manage to catch Sebastian, say hello to him. Now, because it's after 8 o'clock, most people's houses will be locked up for the evening, so I can't go into any other people's houses. However, I can go into the bar and say hello to people there. So there are 2 stores in the town. We have Pierre here, and then just across the river there is the Jojo Mart. Now the Jojo Mart is a little bit more expensive unless you've got Jojo Mart membership. Let's say hello to Clint. And let's say hello to Shane. Shane is actually my favourite character in the game. A lot of people hate on Shane, but I really like him. Say hello to Pam. And we'll say hello to Gus. And hello to Emily. So this here is Mayor Lewis's house. And here is another community notice board for doing larger tasks, which opens up a little bit later in the game. And over here you have the library, and you have Clint's, which now Clint's you will be going backwards and forwards to a lot, and that is to upgrade your tools. And the library you'll also be going backwards and forwards to a lot to donate artifacts. Down here we'd have the beach, which is a great place to forage items. I'm not expecting anything today. Certain things you don't really see much happening this early in the game. It's to do with the game mechanics more than anything else. Here is a bridge that you do have to build, and it gives you access to another part of the beach. And we have down here the dock. And this is Willie's shop and house, and he is the local fisherman. He's currently out, but there'll be a cutscene either tomorrow or in a few days where he invites you down and gives you a fishing rod. Now, because it's getting quite late, I'm going to head back to my farm. If you get to 2 AM and you're out and about and you're not in bed, you will pass out, and the next day you will only have half energy. And you will probably be robbed as well. And if you're not robbed, then it could be that Dr. Harvey picks you up, or one of the Jojo Mart teams, and you get charged for medical services. So just in time, and then we just go to bed and end the day. Now this is the save screen, and it's also the daily tally. So today, because I sold those 2 plants, we've made 60 gold. So here we have the TV as well, and the TV is quite good because it will tell you what the weather's going to be tomorrow. Like tomorrow is going to rain all day. Now, raining days are actually really good in year 1 because it means you don't have to water your crops. Okay, so Pierre has sent us some mail, and he's trying to sell you a larger backpack, which we will probably get. And Willie has sent us his note to say that I should come down to the beach to see him. To start with, we are going to go pet our chickens. The reason I'm saying pet the chickens first before I water the crops is I need to refill my watering can. There's one of my chickens, and as you can see that bit of grass is moving, that's another one of the chickens. Now, if you don't really want to be trying to play spot the chicken, before bed you can actually close this hatch and it will keep them inside. Just make sure your chickens are inside before you do. They get a bit grumpy if they stay out overnight. As you can see, my energy hasn't completely healed from the day before. That is a mechanic since one of the later updates, but it's fine because today we're not having a energy heavy day. That's all my crops watered. You have to do that each morning if you want the crops to grow to the set schedule. So if it says 6 days and you miss a day watering, it may add an extra day on because it kind of pauses the growth, and if you leave it too long the plant will just die. So now we are going to go down to Willy, but before I do that, actually I am going to put my tools away because I'm not going to be using them. You don't have to carry them around all the time. What that's done is just freed up my inventory for today, and I can then fill my backpack with forageables and fish. So we have a forageable here. Now, because my energy isn't great, I'm not actually going to be getting many fish today. Now, the fishing minigame is something some people struggle with. It takes a bit of getting used to, but fish in year 1 are the easiest way to make money this early in the game. So let's go down to here. I'm just going to grab that because I can sell that. So this is Willy, he is the local fisherman. So we've got the bamboo pole, which is the basic pole there is. So you can sell your fish directly to Willy if you're fishing on the beach and you want to carry on all day, or you can just take them back and fish and throw them in the shipping bin. So now we're going to do some fishing. One thing I recommend is you don't stand, I believe it's here, because Willy goes and stands there later in the day and fishes. So the fishing bar, you have that. Try and get it as full as possible, because that is how far you're casting out. And then you wait until there is a bite, which comes up with a little animation like that. And this is the hard bit. You have to keep the fish inside that bar, and if you don't, the bar on the right will decrease and the fish will escape. So I just caught that one. And each time you cast, your energy goes down, so you have to be careful just how much you're using your energy. Now you can use another fish. Carry that thought on in a second. So we caught a herring this time. So yeah, you can actually consume food which will increase your energy. However, right now we don't have enough money for that. The trick is just to keep it in that little box, and the higher your fishing level, the bigger that little bar is. We're just going to fish for a few hours, and then this will increase my money for tomorrow. Now, not all fish are easy to catch. Some are harder. So we've just got a treasure chest as well, which is something you can get in fishing. And they usually have artifacts in, or bait, or other items that you can sell or keep. So we've got some coal. Now coal I'm going to be keeping, because this early in the game coal is quite rare, and I will need it when I'm making some bars of metal. So I'm probably going to catch maybe 2 or 3 more fish and then call it a day because of my energy. So we've got another treasure chest, but this fish is a sinker, so it's gone all the way down to the bottom, and if I try and get that chest, that goes all the way down, so I have to kind of time that right. Now because I'm on Xbox, all I'm doing is pushing the A button to move that bar, and I've got something to sleep on, which means I've just increased my fishing level. So we've got 2 more coal, and we've got some mixed seeds, which we like mixed seeds. You can sometimes be waiting here a while to catch a fish. Don't worry if you fail fishing when you first start the game. It is a mini game which takes a while to get the hang of. It took me a long time, and now it's actually one of my favourite parts of the game. Oh, another treasure chest. Let's see if we can get this one as well. So if I now fail this, I also lose the treasure chest as well. So if it's hard to catch fish, I tend not to try and get the treasure chest this early in the game. Some more coal, which we're happy with. So when it comes to things like clay and coal, although you need to ship at least one of them during the game to get 100%, I don't ship any of those this early on because they're valuable resources. So that's where it comes into resource management. If it's something slightly rarer, I won't ship it. You've got your entire gameplay to ship that item. I'll wait until I've got quite a few. You can actually buy coal from Clint, but it is 150 gold per piece, which is quite expensive this early in the game. So I'm just going to head back to the farm, and I'm going to sell my fish and store my coal. I've sold those daffodils, and I'm just going to store those. Now, when you're doing this, you don't actually have to go through everything individually. You can just click the add to existing stacks, and it'll just add everything in your inventory into that chest that's already there. Now, because today is Tuesday, on Tuesdays, all of the ladies in the town, or majority of the ladies, all gather in Pierre's front room and they exercise together. So today is actually a good day to say hello to all of the ladies. knowing some of the bigger schedules is worth it. Like Marnie, for example, she sells all the animals, and unless you get the catalogue from her, she's never at a farm. She's always out, and it's really annoying when you really want to go buy a chicken and you get all the way there and she's not there. Let's go say hello to him. George is a grumpy old man, but he has every right to be grumpy. He is one of the characters that does grow on you as you get to know him. Stardew may be a cozy game, but as you get to know all of the NPCs, it's a cozy game with characters with very real world issues. For example, Shane is battling his own mental health problems. He drinks heavily. Pam is an alcoholic and she's also the bus driver, which is kind of a bit of a weird combo. But at the moment the bus has broken down, she can't afford to fix it, so she spends all of her day in the saloon drinking. Building up a horrendous tab with Gus. Demetrius. Demetrius gives you a lot of breadcrumb quests where he asks for scientific specimens for a lot of different things. Talking to each villager as well and giving them gifts increases your friendship with them. In order to say, if I wanted to partner up with Leah, I need to get her to 8 stars before I can propose and give her a bouquet to say that I'm interested. And this screen also tracks if I've spoken to them that day too. With a lot of the villagers, the more you speak to them, the more friendly you are. They do give you recipes, and occasionally they will send you some things in the post. Now, to get back to your farm from here, you also have this path here, which is a bit of a shortcut, and it just leads you to the top of your farm. It's always worth checking out up here because there's a lot of forageables that grow throughout the year. And we're back at our farm, but because I have no tools and I haven't cleared this bit of path, I can't actually get into my own farm, so I'm going to have to go back around the long way. So yeah, just remember to clear that space. There is also a third path into your farm which leads directly down to Marnie and the Cinder Snap Forest. However, you need to clear quite a bit of your farm out before you can actually walk through that way. But given we've got quite a bit of time, I'm actually going to go to Cinder Snap Forest and see if there's any forageables that I can sell tonight. Go back to my farm there. Let's go down here to Cinder Snap Forest. Now you can look in everyone's trash cans. However, I don't recommend you do it when there's people around, otherwise they will be disgusted with you and you will lose heart points. So this is Cinder Snap Forest. You've got Leah's house there, and you've got Marnie's ranch just here. And the entrance to your farm is just north there. But let's have a quick turn around just to see if we can find any forageables, which I have. Got those there. And we have some spring onions down here. Now spring onions, they don't sell for much and they only grow in this area in the spring. So each season has its own sets of forageables that you can get. Now you can use the forageables and save them and create seeds for flowers, where you get like a random assortment of flowers, and you can also get them for growing your own forageables on the farm. You can do that. I tend not to, but that is not it's just a personal choice. There's nothing wrong with doing it. Certain farms, you do actually get some forageables on your farm. So if you have the forest farm, you can collect some forageables on certain patches of land. But it is sporadic, and you can't always guarantee that you're going to get something every day. Just up here, you've got a big tree where Jas likes to play with a skipping rope. And just here is where the travelling cart rocks up on a Friday and a Sunday. But I'm going to head back to my farm, and you'll see here just how difficult it is to navigate through, because it's all kind of enclosed in and I've got no tools on me. So if you did want to use that path, clear at least one little bit of path early in the game. You don't have to straight away though, especially if you're trying to conserve some energy. Now, because tomorrow is a rainy day, it means that I'm not going to have to water my crops, and I can spend the day doing other things instead and conserving that energy. Now, one thing about rainy days is your animals stay inside, so you have to make sure they're fed. I didn't feed my animals this morning because I let them out yesterday and they would have eaten grass. And they're also out today and they'd have eaten grass. Let's just dump these. And I'm going to grab my tools ready for tomorrow. I'm going to clear a bit more of the farm tomorrow, I believe. And we're going to go to sleep for the night. So my fishing level went up 1, which means that little bar that moves when you're doing the fishing has increased a little bit. And my foraging has also increased, which means my axe proficiency has gone up, and I've got another few crafting items. And as you can see, I've made a reasonable amount of money for year 1. 741 gold in year 1 is actually a lot of money, especially this early. This is why fishing is something you can't ignore. You really need to master, because yeah, that 407, that is a significant amount. It's more than I made foraging today. So in year 1, I spend a good portion of my time fishing to get my gold up so I can buy upgrades to the farm. Now, it should only be raining for 1 day today. Yep, it's going to be sunny again tomorrow. So just here, a seed has popped up, and we don't really want that growing. So you can actually just use the scythe to get rid of that one. And this is a baby tree which is going to form as well. Let's go pet the chickens. Now this gate you have to manually open and close yourself. I recommend you always remember to close it behind you, otherwise your chickens will wander around your farm. And they're now fully grown. On this farm your chickens grow slightly faster than they would on another one. And we have some eggs. Now with the eggs we have the choice of selling them, or you can make a mayonnaise machine, which is something I would unlock at a later point. Later in the game I make mayonnaise, but this early on we can just sell those eggs for gold. Because they're kind of lower tier eggs, they won't make much money. One of them was a standard quality, the other one was gold, so each one will make slightly different amounts. If you're trying to calculate how much each thing makes, the Stardew wiki has the prices for everything on there. And it depends what professions you go through as well. Some of them you get a bit of a bonus. Gather all of those. So if it wasn't raining today, I wouldn't be spending the time clearing these. It's only because I can conserve that energy from not having to water that I'm actually utilising some of that precious energy today. So as you can see, my energy is already dropping quite fast, and that is totally normal and what makes the game quite well paced. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Oh, I hope you feel better soon. Is this space pretty much cleared now? Thankfully, no, I've not been sick recently. Okay, so we've now got some items to dump into the chest, and we've also got some tree seeds as well. What do I like about Stardew? I like that it's whatever game you want it to be, that's what it is. There's no right or wrong way of playing Stardew, it is open to everyone. So this here is the community centre, which is one of the routes of going through where you upgrade that, which we will talk about when we get the cutscene blip in a couple of days' time. I think it's on day 5. And we're going to do a little bit of fishing now. So the weather does actually affect what fish will bite. Some are all weather, some are only when it's raining, and some are only when it's in the spring. There we have a hard one to catch. Don't think I'll manage to catch that at my current proficiency level. Oh, we have a Jojo Cola. think this will be my last fish of the day. So that is the trick, is after you've done all your farm chores, just go and do a little bit of fishing. And I've got 3 fish there, and a couple of forageables, and I've got a Joja Cola. Now the Joja Cola, you get loads of them as fishing junk. And if you look at my bar, if I consume this, it will go up very slightly. So it's quite handy if you just want a little energy boost. Or you can sell them, which I think they're about 70 gold or something like that. Let's sell our things. Now, if you accidentally drop something in here, you can get it back. It's only the last item that you can get back. So be careful what you throw in here if you want to save something. There's some more mixed seeds. Let's throw them in here. So now I actually have another 3 mixed seeds in total. So what I'm going to do, because it's raining and I have a little bit of energy left, I'm actually just going to plant those next 3. Being mindful that I will have to water these later on. They're planted and they're growing. Now I can actually make some fertilizer for these because I do have some sap. I don't normally make fertilizer of a low quality this early in the game. Actually, sorry, I can't. I haven't increased my farming enough yet. Mainly because it doesn't really make much difference, in my opinion. And the sap is much more useful later in the game for different things. So that is our day pretty much done. I don't really have the energy to do much else. I could go and do some foraging, or I could go say hello to some more villagers. I could probably catch 1 or 2 more fish. Because if that bar gets too low and then you need to get back, your character starts like tiptoeing home, which takes a very long time. We're going to get a couple of fish, I think. We'll go down to the beach, because there's certain fish that will only appear when you are in a rainy day. We've got some forageables down here. It'll take a few days to appear these. One thing to be mindful of, if you are going to go say hello to a villager, make sure you're not holding something that you can give to them, because it will automatically give it to them as a gift. If they don't like the item, then you'll lose heart points with them. And also, you might actually need the item. Let's see if anything bites. As it's getting close to the evening, there's certain fish which are day and night. So we have seaweed. Now seaweed I can sell or I can save. It's another one of those things I always save it because I like fish ponds. Fish ponds are something that Robin can build for you for some resources and gold. And it means that you can get a steady supply of fish roe, which is something you can process into aged roe. And some fish give bonus items instead of roe. It's a nice way of making money which doesn't take up too much energy once you've got all the resources. Wasn't a very good cast, but oh, we've got a fish anyway. Oh, we have a fast moving fish. Some of them move faster, some of them move slower, some of them are very sporadic. there's certain fish that my current level wouldn't let me catch because it moves too fast for my little bar. And we have an eel. Now the eel I may save because it's required for one of the community centre bundles, which I'm going to show you once the community centre is open. Eels are also good to keep in the fish pond. Because the fish ponds, the fish also breed. And you can fish one out if you need it as an ingredient. So because this one is a sinker, I wasn't able to get that treasure chest, which is fine. You don't have to get all of them. Sometimes the gamble of getting the treasure chest isn't worth it. This will be the last fish I catch because I don't think I have enough energy to catch another one. Now because again this is a fast moving fish, I'm not going to go for that, and I didn't catch it, so that's no worry. This early in the game I don't expect to catch every fish. As you progress I do expect to catch all but legendary fishes straight away. So let's just head home and go to sleep for the night. I am, however, going to sell a few bits. I'm keeping those two. Your fish will stay alive in there indefinitely, and I could then put that into a fish pond or cook with it. It doesn't really matter. Let's see how much we've made today. $749, that's not a bad amount. Okay, so today it's not raining, so I need to water my crops. I'm just going to grab my watering can. I'm going to go say hello to my chickens. That's one chicken. And where's the other one? The other chicken's still in here. I am actually going to clear up some of this before I water my crops. Oh, a geode. Geodes are useful. You have to pay Clint to break them open for you. You can get a geode crusher later in the game. That is a mid to late game item. Clear this. So the reason I'm clearing all of this is so some grass can grow and it's not being hindered. I'm going to get rid of this little patch of grass. There and there. I basically just want blue grass to start growing in this area, which will take time because the green grass grows a little bit faster, I believe. So my inventory is full, which means the game is telling me there's an item around that I need to pick up. So all of this debris does spread, so that's why you have to keep an eye on it and cut it down and get rid of it as you can. I'm actually quite good in this area. So those items that are just lying on the floor there, I can pick up once I've got inventory space. Oops, wrong tool. those items. And what was it that I could pick up in here? Let's have a look. Some more fibre. Fibre is useful, you'll need it later in the game for building certain items, scarecrows, and other things. The geodes. Actually, we've got some gold, we can go get those crushed today. First, we're going to water our crops so we don't forget. Once you've upgraded your proficiencies in certain things, you can get sprinklers which automatically water your crops every morning. There's 3 different types of sprinkler. You have your basic one, your quality one, and your iridium one. However, I don't like the basic ones because they only water 4 crops. The only time I use those is if I'm putting a trellis up. And trellises are a pain to water. And this early in the game, I would only be putting a trellis up, which would be for beans, just to get those bits shipped. They don't really sell too well, beans. But given we've got some money, we're going to buy a few seeds. 4 of those. 4 cauliflower. 4 potatoes. And 4 kale. There's some flowers there as well that I can grow. I'm not looking to get year 1 100% completion. That's not the purpose of this playthrough. If I was going to go for 100% completion, I'd be playing in a slightly different style to what I am now. This is merely a guide for new players who want to get into Stardew. I do need to fill my watering can up though. Now you can build a well to fill your watering can up, and once you've got the kitchen upgraded to your house, you can refill there as well. On the standard farm, there is a little pond pretty much here, which you can use. I just prefer to go fill up at the river. Doesn't take that much time. Because this is a new set, I'm actually going to create we've got a new series of crops just here. And I am actually going to plant some trellises just so I can show you how they work. So with trellises, you start from the furthest point and work back because you can't walk through them. And they will block you from walking around, as you can see. So watering them is a bit difficult because you have to water them from the side. So if, like me, you water downwards, you just have to kind of change for those. Now you're probably wondering, why did I buy 4 of everything if I'm only planting 3? And that is to show you my next little tip. So, we're going to craft, let's have a look to see if we've got enough wood. Yes, we do. We're going to craft another chest. Just for now, I'm just going to drop those geodes. I'll pick them back up in a second. So this chest I'm going to put just here. Goes back up. And I'm going to put this as the colour green. The reason I do that is each season I have a different storage chest for seeds. And this just keeps your farm nice and organised, So when it comes to replanting, I can just go in there and grab a load of seeds. Let's just put that wood back because I don't need to be carrying that around. And I'll just drop some tools as well. So I'm going to take my hoe with me, just in case. But the reason I'm taking my hoe with me is that you get artifact spots pop up on some of the paths on the beach, and those spots are pretty useful for getting new books for the library, artifacts, clay, mixed seeds, and other random little items. So this is Clint's place, and we're going to just process some geodes. So we've got a couple of items. We've got an earthstone, and we've got what I believe, jagite. And we're going to donate the jagite to Gunther, who is the curator of the museum. Got this little cutscene now because it's the first time we've been in here. But I'm actually keeping the earthstone because I can use that as a resource later in the game. You get more earthstones from the mine, but this early in the game I actually prefer to keep the stones. So from Gunther you get rewards. Some of them are useful, others not so much. So we're going to donate, and we're going to just donate that one for now. I like to keep my museum organised, so I start off putting all of the rocks and gems down the bottom, and other artefacts get grouped together by theme. It's entirely up to you how you organise your layout. There's no right or wrong. Oh, we've got a Jojo Cola. That's handy because my energy's low. Let's just consume that. You don't get much, but every little helps. And we've got a maple seed, which is not really that useful, but this is the Jojo Mart. It's the other shop, and it is the only one that's open on Wednesday, so Pierre closes on Wednesday. Shane works here, Sam works here, and a lot of the other NPCs shop there as well. Say hello to Abigail. Oh, and Alex we can say hello to as well. Who have I not said hello to yet? Let's have a look. Okay, so I've still got a few people to say hello to. I've played this game that much that I'm not really too bothered about saying hello to every single person this early in the game. But I do have some rewards to collect. And let's just drop those in there. Because I've got a little bit of energy left, I'm going to grab my fishing rod and I'm going to go do some fishing. Let's just drop that crystal in there because I don't need it, but I'm going to take that. So this here is one of the other fishing locations, and it has its own set of fish in here as well. Taking a while to get a bite today. There. I have a feeling this is going to be a carp. Actually, it's a bit sporadic, might not be. Here's a chub. So as you can see, I've not run out of energy once yet, which is good. Just always keep in the back of your head, Stardew isn't about gold in year 1, especially in spring, it's about energy. So the currency in year 1 is energy. Didn't quite get that treasure chest, but that's not an issue. Some of you may not like the fishing minigame, but it is something that you do have to learn to do reasonably well. As for your first run through, you'll probably do the community centre, and the community centre requires you to donate a selection of fish. Some of them are harder fish to get, others are easier, but you have to do them to complete the bundles, which I will show you once we've got access to the community centre. And my fishing proficiency has increased again, which is good. Okay, so we've got a few fish just there. I'm going to head back home now. My energy level's reasonably high still, but that's enough for now. Some of these fish will be required for the bundles. Some of them you could use in cooking recipes like the carp. You can create carp surprise. But as I don't have a kitchen yet, I won't be cooking with any of them. So for now, they're just there for the money. Grab my watering can again, ready for tomorrow, and head to bed. Yes, that's one of the things in Stardew which is a bit niggly, is I don't like the fact that I always pick up the lamp by mistake. It's going to be sunny again tomorrow. Let's go to sleep for the night. So now I can actually craft some bait, which is good. Bait just increases the rate that the fish bite, and each fish will consume bait, but also any junk you fish up will also consume bait. Oh, here's Marnie. She wants to give me a cat. I just keep the name that the game gives you. I don't really know my pets on this game. You can actually get more than one pet. I just don't, because I don't really want them to begin with. But they are useful. If you make friends with your cat, you occasionally get some fish that it hunts. And the mouse who sells you hats is now open as well. And the landslide up by the lake that you saw the person hammering away at when I was fishing yesterday has been cleared, so it means we've got access to the mines now. And we've also got some of our crops grown. We've got some parsnips. Okay, so I'm going to start doing my watering. Now, although I've got no seeds to put in place of this, I am actually going to go buy some parsnip seeds. So I'm just going to plan ahead and get all my watering done beforehand. Then I'll be saying hello to my chickens and going to buy some seeds. And I'll probably head up to the mine just to show you that. I am actually going to have to go fill my watering can up, so I'll say hello to the chickens first. Hello, chickens. So here we've got an artifact spot that's popped up. Let's open that, and we have some carrot seeds. Now, carrot seeds are a new item to the game after the last update, and they're a fast-growing, quick crop that doesn't really sell for that much. But if you're short on cash, they're a nice, easy way to make a little bit of money, not much. I think each carrot gives you something like 20 gold, which isn't too much. But just to show you, I will just put down. Now, I've just put that there. I realise actually later in the game I'm going to be putting a path there, so let's just clear that. So for that you need your pickaxe, and you have to be very careful because your pickaxe can destroy crops. I've done that way too many times myself, so just be mindful of that. What I will do is I will put my carrots just at the bottom here. Now we're going to be heading off to Pierre's, but first I'm actually just going to dump these. Now, that gold one I'm saving for one reason, and that is the quality crops bundle, which I'm about to have to do in the next few days. And you need 5 quality crops, gold standard items, and the spring one, I believe, is parsnips. Here's the community centre. And we have a cutscene. Now this is where you have to make a decision over the next couple of in-game days, and that's whether or not you decide to do the community centre route, or if you decide to do the JoJo route. Now the community centre route requires you to build improvements by donating items into the community centre, and little aliens will build the improvements for you. The Junimos are kind of cute, and you can get some to help you on the farm later in the game, but it is something that does take a lot of time to do. However, if you do the JoJo route, you can get the same upgrades, which include farm items. So if I complete a bundle, for example, if you complete the pantry, you get a greenhouse. You can do the same thing with money at JoJo. Now within the Stardew Valley community, doing the JoJo route is kind of seen as going the corporate way, and they're evil. It's just a game. They're not evil, they're not real. If you don't like doing all of the bundles, especially after your first playthrough, going the JoJo Mart route isn't a bad thing. For all of my latest run-throughs, I only go JoJo Mart. Mainly because I've done these bundles that many times, I get a little bit bored because it's quite repetitive. So let's just let this play through. And once the community centre is complete, apart from your villagers wandering off one day a week to go stare at the boiler, I think Clint does that every Wednesday or something like that, it doesn't actually serve a purpose. Whereas on the JoJo Mart route, it's a warehouse to start with, but then it becomes a cinema later in the game. Whereas if you do the community centre, the JoJo Mart closes and that becomes a cinema later in the game. So you still get the cinema no matter which route you go, but you lose a shop. Now, if you go the community centre route, Pierre will start opening up on Wednesdays after so long, because it's closed on Wednesdays at the minute. But a lot of people really don't like Pierre because of some of his business practices. So it's entirely up to you which route you go. For your first playthrough, I recommend you do the community centre one, just because it gives you a better understanding of the game mechanics and getting all the crops, etc. Future playthroughs, you may want to consider doing the JoJo Mart route. So now I've been in there, the cutscene's on, I have to go back in again, and you'll see this is one of the rooms you have to upgrade, which is the toy room, and you can't actually read the bundle because you don't speak Junimo yet. To unlock the community centre so you can see the bundles, you have to do a bit of a side quest for the wizard, who is in the forest, but he invites you down, I believe, probably tomorrow. You'll get a letter from him. So now this is cleared and we've unlocked the mine. Now the mines are something that you will do quite a bit of because you need the resources. You can choose to do the mines earlier on or later on. I kind of chip away at them throughout the entire year. You basically have to get down to level 120 to complete the mines, and each level gets progressively, or level set gets progressively harder. Different monsters down there that you have to fight. You don't have to spend that much time in the mines, but if you do want to do 100% completion and get all of the gems and the resources, you really do need to do the mines. It's not a massive battling game. The monsters are more annoying than anything else. So here's the first level of the mine. It always looks the same. And I've got my pickaxe with me. And you just have to break rocks until a ladder appears, which it has here. If you want to, you can clear the entire level and get the stone resources. These larger ones take a lot longer to demolish. So I kind of leave those for now because my energy level is already dropping. And you'll also notice I've got a second bar now, which is my health. So here we've got our first metal node, which is for copper ore. Now sometimes you'll come down to a level and the ladder's already there, which is good. But don't think, oh, I've got to go get that straight away, because there's some things you might miss if you just drop down a floor, because you can't go back up again. Every time you leave the mines, it resets. So I've just got some quartz, which is good because I'm going to need that. And there's a barrel here, and I got a topaz. And we've got our first little monster. This is a slime. They're really annoying, and you just have to keep hitting them until they die. And they do give off some slime, sometimes other items as well. If you go onto the Stardew wiki, you can see all of their possible drops. And we've got a second ladder that's just appeared. Let's just get that one, and I'm going to go down a level. There's no more geodes here for me to gather. And I'm just conserving energy. And today I'm not going to go beyond level 5 of the mines. So after you get to each 5th level, the elevator starts up, which means you can go back to that level. Now, cave carrots are actually really useful. So I'm actually just going to drop these seeds a second. And I'm going to eat those cave carrots because they will get my energy up. Not much, but enough to keep me going. I've just reorganised my bag because my tools are all over the place. Let's have a look. So we've got that. And we've got the ladder already. Now these little caches that I keep smashing, I'm doing so for one reason only, and that is to see if I can get a glow ring, which is an early item game that I really want. Okay, so I need to drop something to get those cave carrots. I'm going to drop this topaz, eat those cave carrots, and carry on. Now, you can save the cave carrots and come back for them later. And there's also some other bits there. Now, there's something here, but I don't know what that is. So what I'm going to do is... See, I picked that up, and it was some carrots, I believe. Now, the carrots I don't really want right now, and I'm going to keep picking them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop them in the bin, because I know I'm not going to take them. And, yeah, that's everything that was in that little pile. There's some coal there. As much as I'd like the coal, I want the gems more. And I also still want to keep those mixed seeds. So sometimes you kind of have to leave things behind that you would really prefer to take. But it's the nature of the game. Now it's just said inventory full just here. Let's see if there's anything that's actually there. If that was just delayed. It was just delayed. So this is bug meat, which you could use to make bait, but I'm not taking that because you can get bug meat quite a lot. We have another topaz, another quartz there, which is good. And we have Now, you can have multiple enemies attacking you at once. The trick is to try and segregate them. Now, we've got an earth crystal there, and I really want that earth crystal. So, I look in my bag and see, okay, what do I want to get rid of? Because I want the earth crystal more than what I want those mixed seeds, I'm just going to toss those mixed seeds and take that earth crystal. Because I'm so early in the game and I've not upgraded my backpack yet, it's limited on the amount of space I've got. If you are going to do the mines completely, I highly recommend you upgrade your backpack so you're not forced to try and decide what items you want to leave behind. And if I was doing a proper mining run, I wouldn't be taking my tools with me beyond what I knew I'd need in the mine. So we're on level 5 and the elevator's open. That means on my next visit I can come back to level 5. Now, one thing to be mindful of is if you're going to be doing it in stages, is to see if you've got enough time to do the next 5 levels before you need to leave. And because I've not upgraded the elevator yet, sorry, not the elevator, because I've not upgraded the minecart, I have to run all the way home. Now, we've got a book that's just appeared. Now, that's actually useful. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to drop the earth crystal for now, because I'm going to read the book. And what that book will do is it will increase my foraging skill slightly. And I just picked up that earth crystal again. Now, there's no other geodes around, so I'm going to call it a day. Now, the elevator, you've got a choice. You can actually bounce between levels. So like if I had other levels opened, I can bounce between them. Or you can go to leave the mine. I just go to the stairs most of the time. This rock here, you can actually destroy once you've upgraded your pickaxe or you've got a bomb. And it frees the dwarf. Well, it doesn't free the dwarf. It opens up the dwarf shop, which you can use to buy mining related items and a few other game items. You do actually need to find all of the dwarf scrolls first, though, so you can learn how to speak dwarvish. And we're going to head back home. My inventory is full, and I've got a few items now. The topaz and the quartz, at least one of them, I'll be donating to Gunther, but he's now closed. He closes at 6. And we have a leak there. So once I've dropped all my goods into the chest, I'm going to go back and get that leak. And then I'm going to finish the last bit of the day. I'm just going to head into Cindersnap Forest and do a little bit of foraging. Now, I did a big blunder now. I didn't go to Pierre's and buy more seeds. And that is on me. Now, I have the choice now. I can just live with that and do that tomorrow, or you could restart your day if you chose to. Some people would restart their day. I'm in spring 1 and it's only to grow some parsnips, so I can just grow those tomorrow. I'll get some more seeds. So I'm actually going to be saving everything apart from those daffodils because I want to donate one of the topazes. Actually, I'll get rid of one of those. And the quartz I'll be using for crafting items. So I've got a few proficiency upgrades, which is good. And I made some money. So that's how much I made from my farm items. So those parsnips did actually make me a fair amount of money. parsnips are a good money maker early in the game. Later in the game, you grow them less and less. So this is Clint. He's now going to give me the schematic so I can build a smelting machine, and that will allow me to make copper bars. Those copper bars I can then use to craft items, or I can take to Clint to upgrade my tools. So we've now got the furnace, and to start with you just have maybe 1 or 2 furnaces. I usually end up finishing the game with 5 fully upgraded furnaces because I'm processing a lot of ore. Okay, now because we have a cat, we have 1 extra job to do, and that is to fill its water bowl. We have to do that with the watering can. You can't use the sprinklers to fill your pet bowl, unfortunately. Letter from Willie. He's got some new items in stock, which is quite cool, and some new fishing poles. We don't need to upgrade those yet. And Rasmodius has invited us to pay him a visit, and that is so we can learn how to speak Junimo, or the forest language. Marlon has asked us to slay 10 slimes, and we can enter the Adventurers Guild. Now the Adventurers Guild is quite cool because if you hit some of their targets, you get items which are very useful. Things like the Slime Slayer's Ring, which makes you immune to any slimes attacking you. You've got a Napalm Ring, which will blow up rocks around you once you attack an enemy. They're quite useful things. Now, as you can see, because I didn't plant something here yesterday, the soil needs retilling. That is what happens if you don't plant something. So you can't plan ahead and think, oh, okay, I will till my soil today and then tomorrow I can plant my crops, because tomorrow half your tilled soil could be gone. So just bear that in mind when planning. So once you upgrade your tools, you can actually water more than 1 square at a time, which saves you some energy, and you can also have sprinklers as well. Now with the sprinklers, as I was mentioning earlier, I never really use the basic ones. I find them very limited on how much you can actually grow with those. They're okay for a few odd occasions, but for general use I don't really use them. The watering can's out of water, so let's say hello to chickens time. So if I click on a chicken, you can see my chicken loves me half a heart. The happier your chickens, the better quality eggs they produce, and also the higher resale value if you want to sell them off. You can make money just breeding animals on Stardew. It's not a route I've ever done, but it is a possibility to keep in mind. Okay, so they're watered. Now before we forget, we are going to go to Pierre's, and we are going to go and buy those seeds. And we have a quest we can do as well. Let's have a look. Clint wants 10 iron ores. Accept quest and delivery. Now, if I accept this quest and don't complete it, nothing happens. However, I'm not anywhere close to getting iron in the mines. That is from a much deeper level, which I currently have access to. So I know I'm not going to be able to do it in the time required. you've usually got a few days to do these tasks. I don't know, I'm not going to be able to do that, so I'm not even going to bother accepting. I will just say hello to Harvey and we'll go buy those seeds. So we're going to just buy 20 parsnip seeds. And let's have a look. Can we actually upgrade the backpack? We can't. We've still got a little bit to go before we can upgrade that backpack. So I'm going to go plant these, and then I'm actually going to do a little bit of fishing because I really would like to upgrade my backpack sooner rather than later to get an extra set of slots. There's 3 backpacks in total. You have the one you start with, then you have an upgrade where you get an extra 12 slots, and then you get a further upgrade with more slots. And you can only buy that backpack at Piers. So that's those planted, and my excess seeds are going to go in my spring chest. So when it comes to chests, what I like to do is make sure by the end of a season I've got enough seeds to start that season next year. So I'm always planning ahead for what I've got in stock. That means that on the first day of the season, which is always the busiest, it saves me having to run to Piers to buy seeds. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to just drop some stuff in this chest because if I'm going fishing I don't need my tools. If you are going to be using the chests to store your tools and you've got lots of chests on the go, just remember which chests you've actually put your tools in. There's been a number of players that have spent hours running around the map looking for various chests to see where they stored their watering can, because they did something, didn't go back to the game for a week or so, went back in and then realised they couldn't remember where they left their watering can. Let's head down to the beach and do some fishing. Now I left my hoe back at home, so I can't dig up that artifact spot just there, but it's no worry. So when it comes to this game, the amount of pressure the game puts on you is what you put on yourself to achieve. If you want to just chill on your farm all day and not really do much, you can do. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Equally, if you want to build loads of machines and turn your farm into a winemaking factory, that's also just as valid as just chilling, making your farm look pretty, that kind of thing. Oh, we have a treasure chest. Can I get that one? Oh. So we're getting a few fish. This is just to top up our funds so we can get backpack upgrades sooner rather than later. I'm going to catch one more fish and then I'm going to go see the wizard and look at starting the community centre. There's my extra fishy. Let's go see Rasmodius. So Rasmodius lives in the Cindersnap Forest at the westernmost edge, and getting to his can be a little bit of a trek. So if you know that you're going to need to go and see him, it's always worth giving yourself plenty of time to get there and back. I am going to take a circuitous route though, because I'm going to go grab some forageables. I'm going to guess the spring onions have grown back by now, or at least some of them may have. They have. Just a side note, if you keep track of things, around here somewhere is an axe. It's Robin's lost axe, and it's used in a quest that she puts on the notice board. And just here is a door that we can't get into yet. Once you've mastered all 5 proficiencies, it's kind of like an upgraded area to get the kind of final upgrades to your character and farm. That was released on the last update to Stardew Valley, and it really did add quite a lot of content. So as you can see, it is a bit of a trek to get to Rasmodius's, as he's all the way up here in his tower. And we're going to have a little cutscene. You can skip the cutscenes. On some playthroughs I do skip some of them, mainly because I've seen them hundreds of times over the years. So Junimo. Later in the game, Junimos do make an excellent addition to your farm. You can build these little huts that give you a set of them, and they will farm a certain area. By farm, they will gather all the crops in from that area. So they're good if you've got multi-crop plants growing, because they'll just keep going out over and over again. You just do have to be mindful that if they pick a crop that you have to then plant against, like parsnips, and you have to go plant them yourself. On the PC there is a mod where you can get them to do other things for you. I just don't usually use it as much, to be honest. It's a bit glitchy. We the Junimo are happy to aid you. In return, we ask for gifts of the valley. If you're one with the forest, then you will see the true nature of this scroll. just drink the random brew from a wizard you've just met. So we can now read the Junimo Scrolls. So you can complete the community centre in year 1. It is just a bit of a slog. For your first playthrough, don't try and rush it. If you don't complete it in year 1, that is perfectly fine. If you don't complete it in year 2, that is still fine. I know some players that can spend years working on the community centre. It's your game, you can play it however you like. Me, I usually complete the community centre year 2-ish. If you really want to, you can do it in the first year. There's certain areas which I try and upgrade first. Let's just say hello to the kids because I've not actually said hello to them. Jas and this guy whose name I can't remember, Vincent, they're two of the harder people to make friends with. They're the 2 kids of Stardew Valley. They go to school with Penny, who teaches them in the library. So we're now back into the community centre. We can go back to the scroll. And this is the craft room. And you've got all these different bundles here. So this is the spring foraging bundle. And I've actually got 2 items, which wasn't planned. And we can just drop these items into here. And basically you have to complete all of these different things. So like this one, we've got to donate 5 items out of this selection here. So you don't have to get all of them, but you have to get at least 5 of them to unlock that. But for the other seasons, you have to get 1 of each of the seasonal items, apart from the construction bundle, which isn't seasonal. It's the construction bundle. You need to get 2 stacks of wood, a stack of stone, and 10 hardwood. The construction bundle you can actually complete quite early on if you put your mind to it. It's not difficult. You just need to upgrade your axe so you can chop stumps to get hardwood. And as you complete one bundle in here, this one will open up, and others will as well. But for now, we just get access to that one bundle. And if you want to keep an eye on your bundles, if you go onto the start menu, you've got the community centre here, and you can actually see what items you need to get. So I still need to get a daffodil and a leek. Daffodils are quite easy to come by. Leeks are actually a little harder to come by. They only grow in specific locations. And you need them for the bundle. And they're also one of the villagers' favourite items, the old man. Who I just refer to as Grandpa because they ask you to. And we have a leek up there. So let's go grab that. And we have some horseradish too. So I've only ever found leeks on the top section of the map. I've never found them in the forest. I don't know if they can grow in the forest. Because I've never seen one, I'm going to assume they can't. So this bridge is something you upgrade when you complete one of the bundles. And it does lead to the quarry, which, to be honest, apart from getting the occasional bit of stone and checking to see if there's any metal nodes. I don't really use the quarry too much. I don't think many players do, in all honesty, but it is a good way of getting stone if you don't want to go into the mines. So we're going to put our fish into the chest, our horseradish and our spring onions and shellfish. But we are actually going to keep that leek because that is going to go into the community centre bundle. Always remember when you're trying to complete bundles so you don't accidentally ship something that you can only get on your occasions. Oh, it sounds like there was a meteorite in the night. Or it's the spa area opening. Okay, now let's just grab our watering can. There is it, just there. And we'll get our crops watered. And I've got 2 parsnips that have grown from wild seeds. Now the options I have are to plant some more wild seeds if I've got them, to let that patch kind of fade away, or I can just plant something else in its place. And I don't think I've got any wild seeds, but what I will do is plant something in its place. And because I know I've got 4 parsnip seeds, it's going to be that. And I may have enough, I may not, let's see. Probably not. Yep, just 1 instant watering, so let's go say hello to the chickens. Hello chickens! Now you'll notice I've not actually been feeding my chickens any hay. That's because they've been outside and it's not been raining. If I know they've got grass to eat, I don't stress over trying to feed them every day. Because if they eat grass, the hay just stays there till the next day anyway. Drop those. Drop those in and water my cat. Okay. So we've got that. Now I'm going to go in search of a daffodil to see if... Is it daffodil or is it a dandelion? I can't remember now. Let's have a look. There's usually some growing someplace. Now, you can actually consume the leeks and you get a little bit of energy and health. Same with most forageable items. Not all forageable items are edible and some of them will damage your health. So just keep that in mind when you think you can eat everything, you can't. So as this is going to be a 4-part series, this video will end. Well, as we end today, that will be the end of this stream, and next week we will be continuing on. But it would be nice if, to finish the stream, we complete our first bundle. I'm just now cruising around the map looking for them because there's certain areas you know they'll grow. This is one of them. The forest. Sometimes you can just keep wandering around the map looking for the item you want, and then you'll accidentally find it in a random place, or you'll spend the entire day looking for an item and then accidentally ship it. I've done that enough times. Just check it here. On there. Just be aware that forageables do reappear on a schedule, so if there's none today, I believe it's on a Monday, I think they may reset. So if I don't get the bundle complete today, it will only be a day or two for me to find it. When it comes to the foraging bundles, it's better to do them in that season and plan ahead to get that bundle done, because once you're out of season, you can't get those items again. Unless you've got the greenhouse, which you probably wouldn't have the greenhouse if you've not done the spring bundle, because you need to complete at least one of those to unlock it. Dandelion, not what I was after, but we'll take that anyway. Now there is one more place I can look, and it involves using a bit of a glitch. So I can do that. There's also the travelling cart, which, because it's a Sunday, is just here. Travelling cart sells random things at some very random and bizarre prices. Some of them you'll want, some of them you won't. Occasionally, if it's to complete a bundle and she just happens to have one of the things you're after, you can use that. However, the price is usually way above what you'd normally pay. The things that they are handy for are the rare seeds and coffee beans. Coffee, if you consume, will speed you up for about 2 minutes. You can zip around the map a bit faster. And one of the upgrades you can get later in the game is a coffee machine you get gifted, and that coffee machine will give you 1 cup of coffee a day, or you can brew 5 beans and make a cup of coffee. So the last place I'm going to look requires my sword and a chair. This is a bit of a glitch. It's not actually supposed to be there, but it just is. We don't. Sorry, we don't know why Concerned Ape hasn't taken it out of the game. Probably because it's been there for so long that it's just now a part of it. So, is it a cheat or isn't it? I'll let you decide that. But because I'm not on a standard farm, I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, because that chair is a lot wider than ones I've used previously. So trying to weave my way down is quite difficult. Before I try on this glitch, I'm just going to have one last look up here to see if there's any plants. Doesn't look like it. Now Now the reason I need my sword is that there's a secret area of the forest and slimes sort of live there. And you do actually need to go to the secret area of the forest quite frequently to get hardwood until you unlock mahogany trees that you can grow on your farm. If you're trying to get through places, you can actually use your sword to get rid of weeds. Okay, let's see if the glitch will work with this big chair. I don't think it will, but we can give it a go. No, it won't let me. So basically, the way the game mechanics work, you can put a chair down and when you get off the chair, it jumps you over. But this chair is a bit too bulky for me to do that. That's a shame. When you get your normal farm on the standard map, you get a much smaller chair. But I will probably save showing you how to do that for a later video on one of my other save files. I've probably got a save file with a standard map which I haven't progressed that far yet. But that is not a problem. What we're going to do is we're going to just drop this leek into the bundle. And next week we will complete that first bundle. I am actually just going to have another scout though, because I really would have liked to have shown you a completed bundle today. They tend to grow around this area quite a bit, so sort of just double check in case I've missed it. So that is surviving the first week of Spring 1. I hope you found this stream informative. This stream will be published onto my YouTube channel, which is the Bearded Bear Gaming, and it will also be published on my website, where I'm building a tips guide to surviving Stardew Valley. That hasn't been built yet, but check out my website, beardedbeargaming.com, and keep an eye out for the latest news and other updates from these streams. I'm actually going to put my chair back before I go to bed. And just dump that there. So that is the complete first week of Stardew Valley. Please like and share this stream if you found it useful, and see you next week. Goodbye for now.